Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we have this 2021 Hyundai Santa Fe, and we're going to do the side chrome delete installation for this vehicle. So as you can see, this is how it looks before the installation. It's just a regular side chrome delete, and this is how it looks after the installation. So we use the gloss black material, that way it matches the pillars of the vehicle and also gives it a different look to the vehicle. If you like the product, link for the product will be down in the description below. But with that being said, let's get started with the installation video. Okay, so before starting the installation, we need to make sure we prep the panels. So to prep it, you can use any cleaning solution that's safe to use on your vehicle. So make sure you prep the side door panels here and also the ones on the lower door panels. Okay, so we're going to start with this small piece first. So to start off, remove the protective layer that comes with the film. Once you remove it, align it right on this edge first. And make sure you just give yourself enough material to cover the curve here. So cover it like this, and everything else should just fall into place. So just like that. Okay, and now we're just going to apply heat to help tack down the film to the curve here and also on the edges of the panel here. So you could open the door, that way you have area to work with. Okay, once you place the whole film down, you can trim off the excess material. So just be careful when you're trimming it off. Find the gap where the gasket is at, trim it off, and trim off the excess material on the inside here. And once you're done with this one, you move on with the next install. Okay, so with this one, start off right on the edge here first. And once you align it on the edge, work your way to the other side of the panel. So just align it like this, and then use the bottom half of the panel as a guide to align the film to the panel. Once you place the film down, use your squeegee and start tacking the whole film. That way we remove any air bubbles behind the film. So tuck in the film if you can, open the door, and tack down the rest on the top. Okay, so once we finish tacking down, it's time to trim off any excess material that we have. So for example, on the top layer here, it only goes up to this section here. So you just trim off the excess material that we don't need. So if you have excess material here, find the gap, trim it off. Same on the top, trim it off, and then trim off the top section too. And now we would apply heat to help the adhesive on the film tack down better to the panel. And now we move on to the lower piece here. So once you have your piece, start from one end, make sure you align it. And for this one, use the bottom half of the panel as a guide to align it as well. And then just work your way on installing the rest of the film. And if you need to lift and readjust, you can. So just lift the film carefully and place it back down. Once you place the film, grab your squeegee, start tacking the whole film down. Okay, and now that we squeegeed and tacked down the whole film, we trim off any excess material, and after we trim off, apply heat to seal the film. Okay, and now once we're done heating the whole film, we can move on with the rest of the installation for these two. And it's just rinse and repeat the same steps that we did for these two to the rear panel here. Okay, so now we move on to this last piece. So for this one, place the film onto the panel. That way it doesn't move when we're installing this one. So start off from this end first and make sure you're giving yourself a bit of material to cover the curve here. So double check and see that you're covering the chrome. If you check that you're good and you're covering the whole chrome, then you can move on with the rest. So just lift the film carefully and align the film to the panel. Just take your time. And it should end here. I would recommend having the door open. That way we're able to work on the inside here. And now lift the film here carefully and work your way to this edge now. And now all we need to do now is just grab our squeegee and start tacking down the whole film. Right here we're just going to apply a little bit of heat. That way we help the film tack down to the curve. But just finish off first everything. Okay, so now let's apply heat. Okay, now that we apply heat everywhere, now we could trim off any excess material that we have. So just grab your blade and start removing the excess material. You could also make an outline to see where you want to trim the film. That way you don't accidentally cut too much where you might expose the chrome. So just enough where we could pass our blade. And now start trimming the excess material. So you can start wherever, just as long as you have room to work with. Be careful not to cut too deep. Take your time when trimming. Start removing the excess material. And you just rinse and repeat until you remove all the excess material. So just take your time. Okay, now that we remove all the excess material, just add heat one more time just to help the film tack down in case it did lift while we were trimming. So just apply heat all around to secure the film. Okay, so now we move on to the lower pieces of the door. Make sure we prep them and clean them before we do the installation. Afterwards, we need to make sure that the area is dry so we can do the installation. Okay, so for this one, start from this end, align the film, give yourself enough material to cover the chrome. Double check and see if you're covering here, but if you're not, lift and readjust. So it should be like that, and then just follow along with the rest of the film. You could use either the top or the bottom section of the panel as a guide in order to align the film to the panel. Once you place it down, take your time in removing any air bubbles behind the film. So if you need to lift the film, you can. Just lift it carefully, remove the air. So once you finish installing the whole film, grab your blade and remove the excess material that you may have on the top, on the edges, and on the bottom. So just take your time when you're removing the excess material. Okay, and now we move on to installing the small little piece on this section. Okay, so for this small little piece, just align the film where you left off, and it should cover the chrome panel here. And that should be it, like this. And now we will just add heat all around the panel we worked on. And the same things that we did for this side, you rinse and repeat for this section too. But first we will install this piece first, and then this small one after. Start from here, give yourself enough material, and just follow the outline of the panel. And then with your squeegee, start tacking down the whole film. Make sure you remove all of the air bubble. So now let's put the last piece here. And now that we finished installing this small piece, now we move on with trimming off the extra material, and then we move on to the last install. Okay, so now we move on to this last piece. Make sure it's clean before the install, and then now we can start with the installation. Give yourself enough room to work with. Align it on the top edge. Work your way to the bottom section and make sure you're covering the chrome slowly, little by little, and it should go there. And now with your squeegee, start tacking down the whole fill. And now apply heat just to help tack down on the curves and in the edges as well. And then afterwards, we'll trim off the extra material. Okay, and now we trim off the excess material. Find the gap and carefully trim off the material. So once you finish installing all pieces of the side chrome delete, the last thing to do is post heat all around. So just make sure you post heat each section, all the panels you worked on, the top, the bottom, and the last piece on the back. Okay, so that concludes the installation video for the side chrome delete panel for the 2021 Hyundai Santa Fe. We hope that this video helped you guys out with the installation. If it did, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way you don't miss any upcoming installation videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.